your girl Reese, aka Bishop. You can call me either or, I honestly don't mind. And welcome to day... Hold on. Give me a second now. Oh, my hands are dry, but whatever. It's not the point of the video. So we had the story time, the advent calendar, the pajamas. Day 4. Welcome to day 4 of 12 Days of Bishmas. This wig is gonna irritate me, but we move. So today's video is not like... It's not something I wanted to do. And this wasn't what... Like, this specific type... Like, what am I trying to say? Like, my thing is that, like... I didn't want today's video to be like this. I wanted it to be a bit more of a happy... kind of updatey kind of, you know, like my usual me self, like joking about, taking a piss out of myself. Is that a flyaway? Okay, ignore the flyaways. I haven't finished sorting out my wig, but whatever. And unfortunately, today's video is a bit more melancholic, if that's the word, if that's the correct word to use. Like, so first things first, this is an endometriosis kind of update video, because the first videos you guys saw of me, I believe I was much more tanned. Don't let the warm lighting fool you, baby girl. It's transparent right now. Winter is wiping me out. But not only was I more tanned, I was more... This was like 2021? April 2021 I filmed those 2 videos. Plus that's when I filmed... Hair everywhere, goodness me. That's when I filmed the story time as well that you guys saw on day 1. And I don't know why I never uploaded that video, because my life is just a shambles and I procrastinate, but either or anyway. But yeah, so I was thinking hopefully by, you know, basically the end of 2022, we're starting 2023 now, that I would have come to you guys with something. And it's very much giving nothing. So where did that last video left off? You know, what kind of English? Where did that video leave off? It left off at me getting a diagnosis and having a laparoscopy, etc, etc. So that was fine. I'd done all of that eventually. That was like 6-7 years, I'll say it's either 6 or 7 years ago. Like that's how long ago it was. I can't actually remember. And it was either September the 30th or October the 1st. Now I haven't rewatched those videos to refresh my memory, but I don't know if I'd made mention that in the previous videos. And if you don't know the video that I'm talking about, I'm gonna put the 2 thumbnails here. I'm gonna link them in the cards and put them in the description down below, so you guys can kind of catch up on, not the tea, but like catch up and actually figure out what it is that Reese is talking about. Now, I would say 2019, the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, I went to Florida to see my grandparents. And the way the pain just hit me, yeah? Because after my laparoscopy, I was doing okay. I was on the mend after it was a serious recovery. Like, I think my recovery in total was like 6 months because of how invasive everything was at the time of my operation, and because it was my this hair. Where's this hair clip? And it was my first operation. So, you know, it was... Sorry, I lost my hair clip in the covers. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it was my first operation. So they were saying like they took out a lot of the extra endometrium tissue, which is your womb, the cells of your womb line, and it's called the endometrium or something like that. Anyway, so they did all of that. They did what they call pelvic 360. I have no idea what that means or what it is, but I know it hurt like a motherfucker when, like, the recovery. So yeah, so that was that. Oh, and they pinned, because I can't remember if I had made mention this. Like I said, I haven't rewatched. Oh, that's so much better. Like I said, I haven't rewatched the videos, but they pinned my left ovary to my abdominal wall. Now, please remember that I'd said that is what they've done. thought it's gonna be. And they said it was a dissolvable stitch, rare tear. So fast forward now, after my recovery, I'm kind of living a somewhat normal life. I'm getting back into being me. I'm not walking around the size 6 and looking like I'm 6 months pregnant and people asking me questions. All that. So the pain, it started to come back and I was like, oh shit, here we go again, kind of thing. So I went back to my doctors and they basically took notes. They just took a note and said, oh, okay, like, we'll give you painkillers. But I'm like, painkillers, you know, they don't really do anything. The only kind of painkillers that do anything is like when I got cocodamol after my operation, but obviously it's an addictive substance, it's a narcotic, no, it's not. Yes, it is, but it's an opioid is what I was trying to say. And it's highly addictive. So once kind of I was on it for like a week or two, the doctors were like, yeah, you need to whittle it down to basically nothing. So yeah. So that happened now. And my hands are so dry you can hear them. So I was washing up and even my palms are white. Jesus. So yeah, so that happened. I went to them and I kept going back. And because on my records it shows that I've had a laparoscopy, it's successful. They've removed all that they could remove, blah blah blah. They've got this long ass pieces of paper that says everything. If I can find it, I'll insert it, but no, me, I've packed it away somewhere. Now, my issue with that is that they just kind of dismissed me after that. It was like, all right, cool, fuck off. You've got what you needed to get done and get out of here, kind of thing. And so you know, that's basically what happened. And then obviously I've been going backwards and forwards, doctors this, doctors that, blah, blah, blah. Basically the same pattern I spoke about in the first video that I'd come online and mentioned about. And then 2020 hit, obviously everything locked down because of the panoramic, and that was kind of when I was sort of getting somewhere. So then 2021 came around and they obviously the backlog, they're getting through everything. So I'm like, I'm not understanding what's going on. I have a diagnosis on my medical records that I'm a stage 4 endometriosis survivor. Like I've been diagnosed by the doctors. Like this is like in black and white kind of thing. So I'm stuttering because I'm getting irritated by it. I'm not understanding the lack of urgency surrounding my situation. And I'm not saying like, woe is me, main character energy type thing. No, it is literally like, I was promised all of these things. Why am I getting emotional? Get it together. Stop that. Whew. I was promised all of these things, you know, and people, they were really apologetic, like, on my recovery process because of how long it took them to take me seriously. And I think for me, I'm almost deflated because I feel like I'm back at that 15, 16, 17-year-old me fighting the long fight again, basically. So I was promised all of these things. You know, you have aftercare, you're going to be linked to a consultant. Any issues you have, just call. When I called the numbers, it's not going through. I've emailed and they're not answering. And in the end, I just went back to the doctors. I said, listen, this just, something needs to give. Something needs to happen. Because I can't keep doing this. Like, I can't keep... Like, it was... I'll be honest, it was severely... It not even was, it is severely affecting my quality of life. Now, you know, once I was better, I got back in the gym, and like I'm never going to be skinny again. Like, we've come to that conclusion because of my hormones and all of that other stuff, and steroids and other medications and stuff I've been on. It's fine. But to get back to a healthy weight and a size where I'm comfortable with me again. So now that was all 2021. Backwards and forwards. Now, oh, my eyes are itching me. Now I've come to 2022, Sorry, this flyaway is really making me laugh. I can see it in the thing. But anyway, yeah, I've come to 2022 and I'm going through the motions of appointments. Like, they're a bit more regular. They are a bit more regular now. And I'm hearing stuff that's kind of, what's the word? Not alarming. I was a bit taken aback kind of thing. So I'm being asked questions as if I've never had a diagnosis. Oh, so what's the problem? Oh, so what is it that they say you have? So what is it? Bearing in mind, I have had the same doctors and doctor since I was 2 years old. My doctor recently retired, I would say just before I got my laparoscopy, and his granddaughter is now my physician kind of thing. Like my person, like my GP, like that I'm under her list of patients. So there's no way you can't not, like, there's no way that you can tell me that you can't find my files. I've lived within the same borough even my entire life. It's just not making any sense. Like, so I had a little bit of a bitch fit there. And then it turns out that because of, you know, government cuts and fundings and pay and blah blah blah, we have a lot of locum doctors. But I would have thought that the locum doctors would have, that we've got a lot more, should I say, because I remember I mentioned in the last video, one of the last videos, that we had one. But we have a lot more now. Like, almost 90% of the doctoring staff are locum. They're not based at, I nearly said my doctor's name, it's not based at my doctor's anymore. So yeah, so that was that. Anyway, so 2021 and the whole of 2022, I've been backwards and forwards in with them about trying to push this forward. So in February 2020, no, I lied, it was, no, I was right. In February this year, 2022, had an appointment. I had a transvaginal ultrasound, again, like one of bloody 15 million that I've had. The most uncomfortable things, especially when you're dealing with what I'm dealing with, on a flare-up as well. So that's what happened. They had to say, wait until you get a flare-up and then come in and we do a transvaginal ultrasound, because it will be a bit more apparent that on the ultrasound, you know, the endometrium is going to be swollen, because obviously during your period cycle, your menstrual cycle, and then, how do I say this? So during the menstrual cycle, the women's uterine lining gets thick, filled with blood, thicker, to accommodate the egg. And obviously if the egg doesn't get fertilized, everything comes out, which is your period. So where I have the different cells growing in my abdomen, they also fill with blood and follow the menstrual cycle. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm asking that, like, you man can answer me. But if you get it, like, bear with me. I'm here. I'm getting there. Fine. So I did that. Tears in my eyes, brethren. I don't want to do that again. It was awful. And they said, okay, we'll get back to you. Oh, and then I had another meeting with a nurse of some sort, and they said they're going to refer me to the pain team or the pain specialist or something. I said, okay, cool, fine. Like, I was never offered that in the first round of this stuff, so, you know, I'll take it. That was in February. September, I get a phone call. How are you feeling? And at this time, I was actually off work because I was currently on a flare-up, basically, and I was off work. Usually, I kind of force myself to go to work because I don't want to say depressed, because I feel like that's very extreme, but I get really, really down and have a really low mood. But I think that is linked to the imbalance of hormones while I'm going through the flare-up, if that makes sense. So I just said to them, listen, I'm off work at the time, blah, blah, blah. And then she said, oh, okay, so we have had no notes from the pain team. I said, yeah, because they haven't contacted me. She was like, oh, I'll get onto that. I said, yeah, you do that. Because there's not like a direct line or an extension or an email address that you can get in contact with them about. Like, for me, like, because I wear a hearing aid, I've got a personal phone number that I can text or an email that I can send a message to say, I don't know, if it's faulty, I need batteries, I need a checkup, I need a new tubing, whatever the case may be. But the pain staff don't have that. So she said, okay, I'll fast track that. So I said, all right. So then after I get off the phone with her, I get an email or a text message saying that another letter has been, what's the word? You know, I don't know if you guys have it, but my doctors, my back is hurting. They send me like emails and texts to say you have a new letter on the system and then to download the PDF. So I got that saying I have an appointment December the 8th. So I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, like, you know, because I was planning the Bishmas in my head. And December 8th comes around and I go to the appointment expecting to hear good news. So I get there about 12. My appointment was at midday, 12 in the afternoon. And I get there about 10 to, because I didn't want to rush. And I know you got to wee and then you got to do all of this check and da. So I'm used to it. So I got there about 15 minutes early. So when I'm sitting there now, I'm looking at the board. And I'll put it here. It goes, endometriosis department is a 45-minute wait. I was like, okay. If in my head, I'm not a doctor or a nurse, so I don't know how these things work. What's that? Oh, it's my dressing gown. So in my head, I'm thinking if you know that to see all of these patients with different severities of the disease, basically, would you not accommodate the appointment slots to that? So I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So I was sitting there now. And it got to a point where my phone was like on 2%. And I looked up and I'm like, hold on a minute. It's now 1:15. So this is an hour and a half that I have. No, hold on. Yeah, an hour and a half that I've waited. Nobody said anything. There was one other lady that was going, I think she was doing her IVF egg retrieval. She was there for about 20 minutes and then she went in, she got seen. I was in there for the whole hour and a half by myself. No one came in, no one came out. Lady comes out and goes, Rebecca, do we have a Rebecca here? And then she's looking directly at me. I'm like, I'm not Rebecca. Like, I'm Reese. She was like, oh, okay. My next patient's Rebecca. I said, all right. Now, what do you want me to do about that? There's no one else here. It's just me, myself, and Irene. Me, myself, and I. And she goes and comes back after like 15 minutes and goes, oh, I picked up the wrong paperwork. My appointment is actually with you. The alarm bells that were going off in my head, I'm thinking, you're supposed to be seeing me about something this serious and you can't even pick up a piece of paper with the correct name on it. So I get in there now and I'm sitting there and then a man walks in. He's just standing there looking at me. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, because you know, sometimes when you have sit down meetings with nurses, doctors, etc., other doctors come in and ask them questions or confer with them about something. So I thought that's what he was doing. So I stopped talking. He was like, no, carry on. I said, okay. She was like, oh yeah, this is Dr. Tom Holland. Spider-Man. Well, the new Spider-Man. Yeah, this is Dr. Tom Holland. He's the bigger doctor. Not the bigger doctor. Like the more senior doctor. I can't remember what she called it now. I can hear the dog. The more senior doctor. So I was like, okay. And then he went and sat down. I was like, wait, so I'm supposed to get bust wide open and this man, this white man, this old white man is just standing there staring at me. It's just like, you can go behind the curtain for privacy. I'm like, this is the most invasive, non-private thing. I just said, okay. So she's asking me about, oh, have you ever been pregnant? Da, da, da. And I'm like, I've already answered these questions like 10 million times. I answered them again. She asked about the pain and blah, blah, blah. So by now I'm on the chair with this in the stirrups and my leg is east and west. Why do I always have these exams and I've never had a wax? This is so jarring. So yeah, so that happened. Is my hair coming out? No. So yeah, so they did the examination, and she was just digging around, and it was just so uncomfortable. It was hurting, and so she got to like looking at my left ovary, and she was like the shooting pain went right across my gut like this, like diagonally across my gut, and I felt in my back, and I was like, yo, like, oh, okay, stop. She was like, you need to relax your legs, it's hurting you, because you know you have to put your legs like this and then go like this. Now I'm flexible, like both my legs are on like my bed. There's no issue with me putting my legs down, but when you're digging for bloody gold, then yeah, I'm gonna, ow, you know. She kept pulling my leg down, like, I said, I need you to like relax, like, you need to ease up now, ease up on them corners. You almost made me spill, yeah, come on. So I'm joking, but yeah, I said to her, like, can you just take time, a little piece? So she said okay. So then she now puts her head around the curtain. No, she doesn't even she opens the curtain, and I'm just there like, let me just look at the ceiling and count the ceiling tiles, because this white man is now eye to eye with my brown eye. I never thought a white guy would ever see my vagina. I don't know, it's just not my thing, you know. So she says there's a problem here, blah 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 blah. So then she goes to like my bowel, because before I had an issue with my bowels, and it was like I had lesions along my bowels, and it was hurting me. So she was like, well, your bowel is pretty full, so I don't know, I can't really tell what a lesion, like what's a lesion and what is feces, basically. So she was like, you seem constipated. I said, no, I just didn't go this morning because I was in a rush, like I didn't have time to sit down and think about it, kind of thing. She was like, no, you're constipated. I was like, I'm telling you, I'm not, I just haven't been today. Lo and behold, as soon as I come home, did my booty not connect to the Wi-Fi, like. So that was that. And then the man came, no warning, like she's talking to me, he came in. Initially he's looking at the screen, and then he what did he do? Excuse me, oh my gosh, it's almost bedtime. So he's looking at the screen, and then I think she must have done something, and I was like, oh, and I closed my eyes and I was gripping my hands like this, yeah. And next minute I open my eyes, and he's got rubber gloves on and he's holding the probe, and I'm like, I was just sitting there. And then he went like, because I don't know if you guys know yet, when you have one of those exams, they put the sheet, like a towel kind of thing, across you. He pulls it down like this. But what the fuck is that gonna do? Honestly, what is it gonna do? And I think for me, I felt a kind of way. One, because of past experiences in life that we're not gonna get into, and two, which the doctors and like they're aware, because they asked me the questions before I went on and had the examination. And two, he didn't ask for permission. Like, he didn't say, is it okay, or are you all right with this, or do you want me to get, it was just, I was just like, oh my god, like I was actually humiliated. Like, I felt humiliation. I honestly did not know what to do. I was just like, can this just be over? So he done it, like, and you know when you have a lady doing it, like they, oh okay, this is gonna be cold, this is da da da, and she'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna like take it out, just, you know, brace yourself, kind of thing. He just whipped it out and sorted it out and just took off the gloves, put them in a bin and walked out of the room. And I was just laying there like, okay. And then she was like, okay, we need an abdominal scan. In my head I'm thinking, oh hell no, this bitch is not pregnant. I was like, I'm not pregnant. And she was like, well, we still have to do a scan. So I'm like, what, for pregnancy? And she was like, oh no, it's to check your kidneys. But I finished being on the table, and then it was just like a blasé thing, like, oh okay, we'll let you know when the results are in. I'm like, so you can't tell me anything? Because she was like, well, your left ovary is stuck to your uterine wall again. But she was like, but I think that's scar tissue. I said, you're not making any sense. She repeated what she said, but louder. Now, bearing in mind, I just had my straight back cameras. I didn't have a wig on, so I don't know. I felt away like, babes, are you shouting because you see a hearing aid and you think I can't hear you? Or are you just being a dickhead? But then again, if you're shouting because you see a hearing aid, you're basically being a dickhead as well. Anyway, so I was like, no, I understand what you're saying, but what you're saying doesn't make sense. Because I said, listen, look at my notes, because I've seen them. So I was like, but my ovary was stuck prior to having any operation, and if I didn't have an operation, it probably will still be stuck now. So she was like, oh well, it's probably just scar tissue. And I was like, I'm not going back. I said, okay, so when do I get the results? When do I find out what's going on? Who do you know what's going to happen? She was like, oh, I've now attached you back with a consultant. I said, what do you mean? I was like, I don't have a consultant this whole time. She was like, no, after your second post-op appointment, they took you off the list. Excuse me, how can they take somebody off the list who has an incurable disease and it has to be monitored? Like, if you guys know, just write in the comments, DM me or something, because I'm flabbergasted. There was no reason that I can think of on God's green earth that you would take my name off of the list for outpatients for a disease that is incurable. I'm still flabbergasted. I have no words. The nurse said that is the consultant appointment. I said, I have to wait until the 23rd of March. After waiting since 2019 just to be seen to this point. You lot taking a piss. She said, well, you can't always call up and try and see if there's an appointment that's earlier. I said, if there was an appointment that's earlier, would you not have given it to me? I went home and I got a bit upset and just had to look on a positive, you know? And say, I've got an appointment. It's not like I don't have an appointment, because that's all I wanted. It's just not favourable for me in terms of how long I have to wait. But it is whatever in it. So I think for me, making this video is, I'm trying not to get upset. So I felt like I needed to make the video like this and kind of just take out all of my funnies and stuff, because this is a serious thing. Like, I get upset. Sometimes I cry to myself because it's like I don't look normal. Like, look at the video yesterday. So I rewatched it, the pajamas town hall, and I look pregnant. I'm not pregnant. That's how I look because of the growths, and I feel ugly. I feel like strange. And somebody at work yesterday kind of whispered to me and was like, oh my God, I didn't know you was pregnant. I was like, I'm not. You know, and it's just it bothers me a lot, and there's only so much laughing you can do about a serious situation that really affects you. And yeah, I laugh about it and I joke and stuff, and you know, but it's really got me down recently. Like, just seeing that video, like, I put screenshots up. I don't know if to you guys I don't look pregnant, I just look fat. Which either way, yeah. But I'm just not happy. Like, my belly is still like that now. Like, this is my belly normally. Hold on. Oh, I'm near on my bed and unzip the pants. So like, this is my belly, and it's heavy. I've got no bra on, so. But yeah, like, this is what I look like, and this is why I never take like side profile pictures. I don't really take pictures anymore. Like, I used to upload on Instagram quite a bit, or videos and stuff, and I don't want to, because I look like I'm about to have a U and I'm not. So yeah, I say all of that to say, like, just I am the strong friend, and so many people Like, oh, Reese is gonna be alright. Don't worry about Reese, she's alright. Reese isn't always alright. And I think now is one of the times. I don't want to say I'm not alright, but I'm really down in the dumps. Like, that video, I'm not going to take it down because, like, if you see me on road and I haven't got my big black jacket on, like, that's what I look like. Like, you know, I know I say social media is not real all the time, but that's legit what I look like. Like, I come on here, no makeup. I have no problem with that. It's just physically fit. Physically, I don't even want to say attractive because I don't really want anyone attracted to me. I couldn't give a shit. But I don't feel attractive within myself. I don't feel nice within myself. And doctors aren't taking me seriously. Like, medical professionals just not taking me seriously. And I just feel like 17-year-old me again who doesn't know what to do. And yeah. So, why does this feel so sad? Like, anyway. Yeah, so that's just my update on my situation. So, you know, like I said, I get upset. And, you know, I had a little bit of an emotional wobble here. I get teary-eyed, but I just have to sit here and be thankful that it's not worse. The pressure is getting worse. Like, you know, as much as I'm not in great health, I have my health, I have my life. I have lost a lot this year, and I'm still standing. So, you know, I was just shocked. Like, I was just like, it's gotten this bad. Like, how bad does it have to get for somebody to help me? You know? So I'm kind of at an impasse. Like, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, I'll just wait. It's just a waiting game. Now, but like I said, it's a waiting game, and I know, you know, Vlogmas and that is supposed to be cheery, but I feel like I'll be doing myself a disservice if I didn't say anything, because it has been bothering me for the last almost 10 days now, because today's the 17th and this video is going up today. My mum's on her way back to England. Have a safe flight, girl. When you land, you'll probably see this. Anyway, so yeah, so, you know, that's today's video. Tomorrow, I've got one more thing. I'm waiting for one more thing for my Christmas tree. And tomorrow that vlog will be up. It's good. It was only supposed to be a video, decorating and decorations and that. But it's turned into a vlog because of this upside down that I've been going through. So yeah, so that's the end of Vlogmas Day 4, 5, 8, 2, 1, 0, blast off. And thank you for watching. I'm so dumb. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Love ya. Bye bye.